Hi there, so today I am going to be talking about The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. Raymond Chandler introduced the character Phillip Marlowe in The Big Sleep. Phillip Marlowe became the first recurring sort of private investigator character in literature, which clearly then became something that we all recognise today. This was happening in a similar way with Agatha Christie books like the ones I've previously reviewed. They were written at about the same time. However, these characters weren't private investigators in a professional sense. They were just people that liked to solve mysteries, which is kind of a little bit different. So I really enjoyed this book. I thought I had a really interesting writing style. It was quite short, quite snappy, which really worked very well with what was going on in the book and the context of the book and the content of the book and everything. So that was really nice to read. And the characters in the book were really fully rounded. So you didn't learn about the characters all at once. It wasn't, here is this man, he is tall, he wears these clothes, he has this colour hair, he is like this. You got given lots of small hints throughout the book, which was really nice, because I feel that reflects much more how you would actually find out about a person that you met in real life. You know, they're not going to stand there and introduce themselves and tell you their life story. You learn small facts about them that explain their behaviour, or you see parts of their personality that perhaps they'd hidden to begin with and things like that. So I thought that was really interesting, because I feel that makes the characters seem a lot more three-dimensional and a lot more relatable in that sense, because they seem like real people. They're not just, although they are constructs on a page, they don't feel as much like a construct on a page. I also thought the female characters in the book were really interesting. There were two sisters who were by no means angels. By no stretch of the imagination were they angels, but you still had this sense that you felt a little bit sorry for them at times, and you understood that perhaps they were a construct of their lifestyle and things that had happened to them, rather than just being, girls who weren't very nice. I don't know, there was something about them that made them seem a lot more real, and it made you want to engage with them a little bit more, rather than just write them off as bad girls. The plot line was really intriguing throughout the book. I liked that it continued to grow and develop. It wasn't a simple plot line from sort of A to B. About halfway through the book, I felt that it could have ended. There was some kind of initial resolution, so Chandler could have easily finished the book there, but he chose not to, and the plot line continued to grow and new issues developed. And in that sense, it was very intriguing, and you wanted to carry on reading, because you didn't know what was going to happen next, because these new issues and these new conundrums, I suppose, kept arising throughout the book. And that made the ending very clever. I didn't suspect that the ending was going to be how it was. However, we've learned from my book reviews that I apparently never see the ending, so who knows, someone else might have, someone else probably did. I definitely didn't. The main character, Phillip Marlowe, is definitely not a likeable character, and he's not meant to be a likeable character. So he's very rough and ready, he is a bit of an arsehole at times, and he has a very specific moral code. So basically he is loyal to the person who's paying him, and anyone else he can screw over, essentially. But I think that made him very much a real character, so you didn't necessarily warm to him, but he very much seemed like a person you would meet. He very much seemed like, it made him seem quite trustworthy, from the sense that if you felt that if you had hired him, he would have done exactly what you needed him to do, which was nice. But he definitely wasn't a character which you would take out for dinner, for example. He was definitely an interesting character in that sense. The book was just really witty, and it was really quick. I didn't struggle getting through the book. I thought it was a really good length. And I thought it was quick. It was about 300 pages, and I probably read it in about 2 days. I really wanted to get through it very quickly. And I'd like to read a lot more books by Raymond Chandler, especially some more Phillip Marlowe books, to see how his character develops, see if he changes in any way, because that is something that you often find with these very well-known protagonists in series of TV programs or literature, that by the end of their stint, I suppose, they become not someone different, but they've gone through experiences that's caused them to change and grow. So it'd be interesting for me to see if that's something that happens to Phillip Marlowe or not. As well, I think what made the book so good was that it's a very, very interesting era that the book is set. I believe, I can't remember now, this is awful, I believe it's set in the 30s. So politically and economically there's an awful lot going on in this era. You're coming off the back of Prohibition, you've got bootlegging, you've got, huge economic problems in general in the country of America. And essentially it's just corruption is everywhere. The police are corrupt. Everyone essentially is corrupt, and that makes it a really, really interesting backdrop for a private investigator who is trying to help people out in a way that he is somewhat corrupt, but he's almost fighting back against the corrupt police, which is really, really interesting. Like he gets involved, or he doesn't get involved, he talks to the police and he talks to missing persons bureaus, things like that, and it's really interesting to see how he interacts with them, knowing that they're a corrupt force, and he is well and truly ready to screw them over to help his client. I just thought it made a really, really interesting background for the book. Obviously it's part of the whole noir crime genre. This was when it took off. So there's a noir film made of The Big Sleep. So it's that very grey, wet, dark, dank, mysterious, very, very unclear type of literature, type of film, and that very much comes from what was happening in America at the time, I think. Which again makes it really, really interesting to read, because you can definitely see why these types of books were being written when you understand what was happening in America at the time. So that's it for this video. I have no idea what I'm going to make next, so it will be a surprise. Bye!